Don't know what the partitive case is? You've already used it, probably. If you've ever said eskerrik asko, you've used the Basque partitive. Hi, I'm Shanna, and this is Basque Berserk. Partitive, the case indicating a partial portion of a group of nouns. Well, it doesn't have to be nouns, but generally nouns. A pretty good translation into English would be any, though the partitive doesn't always indicate this, and there are other ways to say any in Basque. Here we're just going to go over the formation and common uses of the partitive case, as well as some trip-ups you might experience. In Basque, the partitive is shown using the ik or rik suffix. This ending can be attached to nouns, adjectives, certain qualifiers and determiners, and even verb conjugations. Words ending in vowels and the letter R take the rik suffix.
Neskarik, etxerik, irririk, pintxorik, katurik, txakurrik, neska txikirik, etxe handirik, katu askorik, txakur azkarrik.
Words ending in consonants take ik.
Mutilik, lagunik, autobusik, mutil argalik, lagun euskaldunik, autobus grisik.
In Basque, you can often find a noun and its determiners in the absolutive case. This refers to the subject of an intransitive sentence, such as txakur bat dator, a dog is coming, or the direct object of a transitive sentence, such as nik hiru txakur dauzkat, I have 3 dogs. But if you use these sentences in a negative context, the noun or noun phrase that would be in the absolutive case now takes the partitive case. Es dator txakurrik. Not any dogs are coming, or no dogs are coming. And es daukat txakurrik. I don't have any dogs, or I have no dogs. If you also use the word any in questions, particularly questions with a yes or no answer, the partitive is used here with the noun you would otherwise put in the absolutive case. Badator txakurrik? Are there any dogs coming? Badaukazu txakurrik? Do you have dogs, or do you have any dogs? If you noticed, in the positive statements, the verb forms are in the plural when necessary. Hiru txakur dauzkat. This is because we definitely need a plural form of the verb with the plural noun phrase hiru txakur. In these situations, the verb correlates with singular or plural noun phrases. But we use a singular verb form with the negative statements and the questions that use the partitive case. This is because the partitive is not inherently plural or singular, if you can wrap your head around that. So the partitive basically makes any verb form singular, and it would more literally translate into English as any dog instead of any dogs. Feels a little weird, but that's how the Basque partitive works. So since the partitive is only used where the absolutive case would otherwise be used, some think that the partitive is not a case at all, but just another aspect of the absolutive case. What do you think? Here are some more example sentences to help you decide.
Badago izarrik zeruan?
Are there any stars in the sky?
Ez dago izarrik zeruan.
There are not any stars in the sky.
Eman diozu haragirik?
Did you give him any meat?
Haragirik ez diot eman.
I didn't give him any meat.
Ez didazu aukerarik uzten.
You don't leave me any choice.
Jenderik ikusi alduzu?
Did you see any people?
Ezin dut jenderik ikusi.
I can't see any people.
Ez dute lanik egiten.
They don't do any work. Along the negative line, you will often see certain words used with the partitive, such as gabe, without, though this isn't strictly necessary.
Dirurik gabe, diru gabe.
Without any money.
Haurrik gabe, haur gabe.
Without any children.
Zalantzarik gabe, zalantza gabe.
Without any doubt.
Batere kezkarik gabe.
Without any worry at all. Sometimes you won't be able to translate the partitive into English using the word any. But as you get more exposure to Basque, it will be easier to identify the partitive when used with these negative, indefinite situations. According to the Standard Basque Handbook, some situations where you should not use the partitive is when the noun is definite or specific. Txakurra ez dago hemen. The dog is not here. Ez dut ikusten txakurra. I don't see the dog. The sentence is describing something that is not, using the intransitive verb izan. Txakurra ez da otsua. The dog is not a wolf. The noun is already found with an indefinite determiner within the noun phrase. Although this is not a hard rule, and you will sometimes find the partitive used with indefinite determiners. Ez dugu zenbait txakur, or zenbait txakurrik. We don't have some dogs. Another situation you will find the partitive in is the superlative comparison. When something is the best, or the worst, or the nicest, or the fastest, or the most interesting, you will often find it used with the partitive. Even though the noun often takes the partitive, it's not always necessary.
Lorerik onena.
The best flower.
Zapatarik txarrena.
The worst shoe.
Gizonik atseginena.
The nicest man.
Kotxerik azkarrena.
The fastest car.
Libururik interesgarriena.
The most interesting book. Obviously, with the superlative, the ik or rik suffix doesn't translate well as any. But I like to think of it as the fastest of any car, or the most interesting of any book. And that helps me to remember to use the partitive with the superlative. Now, are there situations where you might think something is in the partitive, but it isn't? Sure there are. Of course there are. As a Basque learner, you will make this mistake, I'm sure. Some noun phrases just kind of look like they're in the partitive with the ending ik or rik. This especially happens if you're a little shaky in Basque, or you're not really caught up with all your grammar points. This confusion can happen when a noun ending in I or RI is at the end of a noun phrase and is preceded by an indefinite determiner especially. And it's in the ergative case, the one with the special K at the end. For example, if you see something like zenbait avestik or beste hizkuntzalarik, you might see the ik or rik at the end and say, the partitive. And it's easy to make this mistake if you're unsure of what indefinite determiners are, or you're not very good at determining ergativity and transitivity, so it's completely understandable. These mistakes are okay, and all you have to do is look for your confusing noun in a dictionary, like the Eluyar Online Dictionary. Once you find it in the dictionary, you can see if these partitive rules apply. Avestik can't be in the partitive, since avesti is the base form and it ends in a vowel. You would have to add rik at the end of avesti to put it into the partitive case. Avestirik. With hizkuntzalarik, maybe you'll think hizkuntzala is the base word. But if you look it up, you'll find that word doesn't exist, and instead you'll get the word hizkuntzalari. And the partitive of that would be hizkuntzalaririk. So you might be able to figure out there must be something else going on here. To help me figure out partitive forms, I usually search the noun in the Eluyar Online Hiztegia, go to idazlagun on the left, and go to the bottom menu, Deklinabidea. Expanding that and going to the very bottom will give you the partitive form. one last word of caution. Some words add the ik or rik suffix not as the partitive case, but as an adverb type form. Asken, last. Askenik, finally. Bakar, only. Bakarik, alone. Pos, happiness. Posik, happy or happily. Ikusi, to see. Ikusirik, seen. So just be careful of these types of things. And what about the partitive in eskarrikasko? Well, usage of the partitive here isn't that common anymore, so it's really just an old phrase that has survived until today. So, in the comments, let us know, do you think the partitive should be its own case, or is it really just a sub-case of the absolutive? Thanks for watching. Agur!